Jeannie Seely, a longtime member of the Grand Ole Opry and one of its most consistent performers, was honored on August 14, 2025, at the Grand Ole Opry House in Nashville. The memorial event marked her 5,398th appearance on the Opry stage, which also served as her last. Seely, who died on August 1, 2025, at the age of 85, was remembered by fellow Opry members, collaborators, and younger artists who credited her as a mentor. The service brought together a wide lineup of performers representing the various eras and styles Seely influenced during her career. It was structured not only as a tribute to her life, but also as a detailed acknowledgement of her role as a songwriter, Opry mainstay, and country music personality. The program opened with comments from Opry announcer Charlie Mattos, who noted that Seely's career at the Opry stretched back nearly 6 decades and included more than 5,000 individual performances. He introduced the first set of performers, Ricky Skaggs and the Whites, who sang the bluegrass gospel number Gathering Flowers for the Master's Bouquet. Skaggs, who frequently worked with Seely at Opry events, remarked during his introduction that she had been a consistent presence in maintaining tradition at the venue. Following them, T. Graham Brown appeared on stage, backed by a 12-piece ensemble. His chosen selection was Sweet Beulah Land, a song that has long been associated with gospel performances on country stages. The performance showcased the large ensemble format Seely herself often supported in her collaborations. Darryl Worley performed I Miss My Friend. The song, originally one of Worley's own singles, was presented at the memorial as a recognition of the type of contemporary country ballad Seely championed in later decades of her career, when she frequently introduced younger artists to Opry audiences. Dolly Parton appeared via video message. Parton's comments acknowledged Seely's role in keeping women consistently represented on the Opry stage since the 1960s. She noted Seely's regular schedule of appearances and her willingness to support other artists' careers. Jimmy Fortune of the Statler Brothers shared a recorded message in which he recalled visiting Seely in hospice care during her final days. He sang Amazing Grace at her request and mentioned that the last project she attempted was a new song they had started together, titled He Wrote the Book on Love. Fortune said he intends to complete the song in her memory. Another key moment came from the husband and wife duo The War and Treaty, who performed Anyone Who Knows What Love Is Will Understand. The song, co-written by Seely in the early 1960s, became a standard through Irma Thomas recording and has since been covered in multiple genres. The War and Treaty noted that Seely had encouraged their work when they were early in their careers. Their performance highlighted her legacy as a songwriter in addition to her role as a performer. 5 of Seely's frequent collaborators, Aaron Enderlin, Buddy Cannon, Bobby Tomberlin, Victoria Shaw, and Charles Eston, each participated in the memorial. They performed a selection of songs associated with her catalog and her personal favorites. Among these was Diamond Rio's One More Day, which Seely often cited as an example of songwriting that resonated with her both musically and lyrically. Young bluegrass musicians Cutter and Cash with Kentucky Grass also took the stage. They performed Seely's Farm in Pennsylvania. Seely had personally introduced Cutter and Cash to the Opry nearly a decade ago, and later mentored them through appearances at the Midnight Jamboree. Their participation underlined her long history of working with emerging artists and helping them gain visibility. The final performance of the evening was built around Seely's most enduring single, Don't Touch Me, originally released in 1966. The song earned her a Grammy Award and remained her signature piece for the remainder of her career. For the memorial, a pre-recorded studio track of the song was played while Mandy Barnett, Linda Davis, Wendy Moten, and Rhonda Vincent provided live background vocals. The presentation was followed by a standing ovation. Opry sponsor Gus Arendale spoke after the performance, recalling a statement from Barnett, who once said, "Jeannie Seely is the Grand Ole Opry." The line was repeated by several in attendance as a summary of her role in keeping the institution active and visible. Jeannie Seely's career in country music began in the early 1960s, but her journey into the industry was not straightforward. She first lived in Los Angeles, working at a bank during the day while performing in small clubs at night. During this period, she also began writing songs seriously, sending demos to Nashville publishers. Her break came when Anyone Who Knows What Love Is, co-written with Steve Boggart and others, was recorded by Irma Thomas in 1964. The success of the recording encouraged Seely to relocate to Nashville, where she signed with Monument Records. Her debut single for Monument, Don't Touch Me, released in 1966, quickly rose up the charts. It not only reached the top 10 on the Billboard Country chart, but also won her a Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance. At the time, only a handful of women had won Grammys in the country category, making Seely's win an important recognition of the growing presence of female voices in the industry. The song remained her defining recording and was a staple of her live performances for the next 6 decades. In 1967, Seely was officially invited to join the cast of the Grand Ole Opry. Membership in the Opry was, and remains, one of the most significant honors in country music. From her debut onward, Seely became one of its most dedicated performers. She quickly built a reputation as someone who could be counted on to appear week after week, filling in when others canceled and maintaining a presence that bridged multiple generations of Opry fans. During the 1970s, Seely formed a professional partnership with Jack Green, another Opry member. The two recorded several duets, including Wish I Didn't Have to Miss You, which reached number 2 on the country charts in 1969. Their collaboration extended to touring, where Seely and Green performed across the United States as a package act. Together, they presented a polished but traditional country show that appealed to Opry audiences, as well as mainstream listeners. Even as trends in country music shifted toward the outlaw sound or pop country crossovers, Seely and Green's work demonstrated the continuing appeal of traditional duet performances. Seely also continued to record as a solo artist throughout the 1970s and 1980s. Her albums during this period included both original material and covers of country standards. At the same time, she remained an active songwriter. Several of her songs were recorded by major artists, including Dottie West and Willie Nelson. This dual role as both performer and writer gave Seely a broad influence in the industry. One of the defining moments of her Opry career came when she challenged the long-standing dress code by wearing pants on stage. At the time, women were expected to perform in dresses. Seely's choice, though simple, was widely discussed and came to symbolize a broader shift in the role of women in country music. By asserting her right to dress as she chose, she made space for future artists to present themselves more authentically, without strict adherence to outdated norms. By the 1990s and 2000s, Seely had fully assumed the role of elder stateswoman. At the Opry, she regularly introduced younger artists, offered them advice, and ensured they felt welcomed into the institution. Her work with acts like Cutter and Cash exemplified this mentoring role. She not only introduced them to the stage, but also continued to guide them after their debuts, using her platform to give visibility to emerging talent. Her total of 5,398 Opry performances places her among the most frequent performers in the show's history. Only a small handful of artists have come close to this number, underscoring the consistency and commitment she maintained for nearly 6 decades. For many fans, Seely's presence on the Opry stage was as familiar as the institution itself. Over her career, Seely received awards and honors from both the country music industry and the Opry itself. Her Grammy Award for Don't Touch Me established her early as an important voice. Later, she was recognized for her songwriting contributions, including inductions into songwriter associations and honors from her home state of Pennsylvania. She was also a regular nominee and recipient of industry awards, recognizing her contributions to the Opry, her longevity, and her mentoring of younger performers. At the Opry Memorial, Opry executive producer Dan Rogers stated that Seely's career would be remembered for leaving crowds speechless with her humor, spunk, and sass. His summary reflected both her on-stage personality and her willingness to adapt the Opry to modern audiences without abandoning its traditions. She maintained a careful balance of preserving the Opry's identity while making space for new voices and styles. Seeley's final official Opry performance before her passing took place in July 2025 at the August 14th Memorial, her 5,398th appearance. The performances and remarks highlighted the range of her career, from early songwriting to hit singles, from mentoring younger acts to maintaining the Opry's traditions. Her passing closes a significant chapter in the history of the Grand Ole Opry, but the numbers associated with her career, nearly 6 decades as a member, more than 5,000 stage appearances, a Grammy-winning single still recognized today, and a long list of songs recorded by other artists provide a clear record of her contributions. The August 14th program concluded without additional commentary beyond the scheduled performances. The stage lights dimmed and attendees exited the Opry House, marking the end of the official tribute to Jeannie Seeley's career and life.